Debout Congolais played out translates to arise Congolese. They will hope to rise further up the standings here on match day 2 to the very top of Group C. Here though, the Central African 11 will be looking to try and do exactly the same. Only 2 changes from match day 1. It is the same back 4 of Yakoma, Sabakamada, Ondobo, Biakolo and Yangba in front of Boanaj, Malimoto. Gamza and Idaro remain in the middle, but Bradley Besnar and Jerez Baigoto come into the Central African attack, flanked by Landry Sungi and the captain, Ronaldo Zay. Both second half substitutes, Besnar and Baigoto. They will potentially get the full 90 here, rewarded for their late performances with a start. Akisi Kono is your referee this afternoon of the Côte d'Ivoire. Our assistants from Côte d'Ivoire, Nigeria and Tunisia. The VAR referee, Baitam Gira, watching on. VAR in operation if required for any contentious decisions. For now, the only issue for the referee was getting the Central African captain over. Ronaldo Zay a little late showing up. And here, the Congolese 11, Ryan Tutu, remains between the sticks. Now we have 3-4-3 as the official formation, so perhaps a change of setup from Guy Bukasa, as it was more like a 4-4-2 diamond on match day 1. And indeed, certainly changes in personnel. Coming in are the numbers 20, 22 and 25. Soko, Makanza and Bongeli all brought in to this new look DRC starting 11. It's a strong performance on match day 1, but Ibukasa clearly seeing something that needs changing. Less so, not the case for the man on your screen right now, Bruce Stefan Abdullahi, who will get their changes, who will get their decisions over the course of the 90 minutes right. Be rewarded with the 3 points, or will they cancel each other out? Here comes the countdown. So the referee blows the whistle and away we go in Suez. The away side on the day. Here in Egypt, of course, both far from home. Get us underway for match day 2 in this year's Total Energies CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. The Central African Republic take on the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Group C's second round of games. CAR in their traditional all white with the blue trim, shooting from left to right as we watch on in this first 45. DRC in that bright yellow and red strip, already on the defensive here. First shot on target as well from Central African captain Ronaldo Zay, making sure that the Congolese defense were straight on their toes from the off. Oh, it's a little cold there, but Tutu positioning himself well. Was stretching for the shot as well. Zay a little good tracking back by the DRC defenders. Nearly caught out at the back as well there. CAR. Montobo just about holding off the press of Samuel Ntanda. Ganza gives it away. One number 6 to the other. Shulaoka got it back. Won't get it back a second time. Biakolo, the vice captain, took the armband from Zay when he departed an hour into the first game. More defending to do there as well. It was his partner in central defence, Ndobo, who ultimately made pretty important tackle there. Besnard immediately down the other end is ushered out. Both sides battling for momentum in the early stages. A lively start to proceedings. That's to be expected in this Central African derby. Yeah, three-letter acronym derby as well. CAR and the DRC. This match marks CAR's second meeting with a fellow UNIFAC nation at the finals. Previously drew 0-0 with Republic of the Congo in their final group game in 2023. DRC have also faced another Central African side once before, drawing 0-0 with Gabon in their tournament opener in 2013. Last time they were involved at the under-20 AFCON over a decade ago. They've already made their presence felt here. That draw against Ghana. And now, early in this match, the fairly dangerously positioned free kick. Monash Malimoto to get his wall and his defence in general organised just so. Ntanda will be lurking. Goal scorer on match day 1. DRC's first goal of the tournament was a header. After about 15 minutes. He scored even earlier here. Well, it's a shot from range instead from Shulaoka. Well struck, but a bit too much power on it. Just kept rising. Malimoto confident that it was going to sail over his bar. An impressive draw as underdogs for both sides on match day 1. 1-1 draw each with Senegal and Ghana, respectively, the reigning and 4-time champions. Their two opponents. Ntanda, and a shot from range. Well held, this one by Malimoto. Been disappointed to have been beaten from there. It looked like it was on target, heading for the bottom corner. Malimoto, who turned 20 a week ago today. The slightly older and more experienced players in the team showing that experience with his positioning thus far. Saw the hashtag pop up there. Total Energies AFCON U-20. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering on, what's got you off your seat in this first 5 minutes or so. Half chance at either end. Both keepers forced into a save inside 5 minutes. This will be another free kick for the DRC. This time, Andre Soko brought down. Soko brought in to the starting 11, seems to be operating at left back. It does look more like a back four than the back three from the official team sheet. Do sometimes like to keep the opposition head coach and thus us watching on guessing. Daniel Shilander, who played the first group game at left back, seems to be alongside Kalonji in the middle of defence. Bongeli can't quite keep it in. Yes, Yangba will take the CARs through. One back, then immediately given away by Goto. Candila. Still isolated over there on the right-hand side, but does well to check back, create the space to, at the very least, retain possession. It's back to him now. Early cross in is dealt with by Ondobo, only cleared as far as Ntanda. He's attempted cute ball through. It's cut out, but it's won back by Aoka. Floated on, but floated straight into the gloves of Malamoto. Aoka, one who will have to be careful here. Booked in the first group game, so another yellow card would see him suspended. That is true of two of the CAR players as well. Yangba at right back and Idaro in the middle of the park. Whipped in towards Besnat, doesn't reach him. Another opportunity though from the left. Again in the way, this time Kalonji. And Soko with a rather nervous clearance, which didn't go that far. And it's all scored, but not clear for the DRC, and they are punished. Rafael Yakoma Zabakamada opens the scoring early on for the CAR. Ryan Tutu not best pleased. You can understand why his defence looked nervy there. Few sliced clearances and no real communication or organisation. Even that first clearance probably should have gone further. Drilled back in. And that, not the best from Soko. And somehow, despite there being, what, 5 DRC defenders in the 6-yard box, it was the CAR left back who fired it home. Another miss-hit clearance from Kalonji this time. Through his legs and deflected past Tutu. All just being checked over by VAR. Nothing obvious there. Probably a formality, but quite a lot to unpack. That fairly chaotic few seconds of play. The goal is confirmed. We get back underway. CAR 1-0 up. 10 minutes on the clock. Yakoma Zabakamada, just 17 years of age, one of the youngest on the pitch, one of the youngest in the tournament. He has his first goal. What's been a pretty good week for the youngster. Plays his club football for Angers in the French top flight. And his club had a very big game at the weekend against local rivals Nantes, a relegation 6-pointer in Liga. They came out with a 1-0 win, which took them considerably closer to securing their survival in the French top flight. And now, 24 hours later, Yakoma Zabakamada performing for his country. Turns 18 a couple of weeks. And that was a cool finish. Nerves of steel. Composure well beyond his useful 17 years. Just wait for his fellow fullback, Abdias Youngba, to get back to his feet after a bit of treatment. We'll watch that opener once again. Initially Soko with the miss-hit clearance, which looked like it was going to sail out for a corner, but then decepted from our angle, just hung in the air. Panic ensued. Could be more trouble here for the DRC. Nice idea to flick it inside by Goto, but just not quite enough on his pass. Counter-attack is dealt with. The DRC fans still enjoying themselves, still in good voice. Congeli clearly being held back there. Another decision which goes the way of the Congolese, and had a lot of free kicks, but not been able to do much with them thus far. Particularly not the ones in their own half, of course. Forwards towards Talassi, got his head to it, couldn't knock it down for his captain. Has won it back though. Will let fly. It wasn't too far away. Tony Talassi. Yes, that was a chance. Opened up in front of him after he did well to win it back. Just a slightly heavy touch, and then a swing and a miss this time from Junior Nganta. His mistake at the back was not punished. 60% of the possession thus far, but it is CAR who looked the most threatening in attack, produced the most shots and shots on target thus far in the first 15. Well, forwards can't win that one. Soko sent flying. Had to keep his head up. Put that mistake behind him. Brought into the starting 11. Not how he'd have hoped the first 10 minutes would have gone. His first start at the Under-20 AFCON finals. This is just a third appearance for both these countries at the AFCON finals. CAR technically a fourth, having appeared in a different format in just the qualifying rounds in 1981 and each of the last two. Here comes Tony Talassi. Malamoto quickly off his line and then quickly to the loose ball as well. Has to get quickly back to his line as he realised the throw was about to be taken quickly. Two chances going the way of Talassi in quick succession. Tried to round Malamoto. Keep it in enough. Shilanda. Kalonji alongside him. Kalonji looks to send it forwards. It was Talassi again. And again Malamoto off his line quickly and uncompromising punch. Knocked in quickly from Mukandila. But, the Central African keeper can allow that one to run and then enjoy the rest, because most likely you'd imagine he's taken a knock in that brave piece of keeping just before. Maybe this one, to be fair, but more likely that punch a moment before did take a hit to the face there as he smothered the shot from Tony Talassi. It's not his face, but his lower leg that seems to be the issue here. Whilst he receives that treatment, to go back to what I was saying about their previous appearances, the CAR finally into the finals for the first time in 2021, and Lifov made sure to make the most of that opportunity. It was also a 1-1 draw in their opener there, first ever match in the AFCON finals, which was followed by defeat to Burkina Faso. They then produced a 2-1 win over Tunisia. 2 goals in just over a minute to see them through to the knockouts. Did then fall at the quarter-final stage to Gambia, but a very respectable first appearance. Couldn't carry that momentum into 2023 though, finished bottom of their group, just a single point, having scored just a single goal. They've already scored 2 here in little under 1¼ games at this edition. Excellent opening draw with the defending champions. Malamoto seemingly okay. We're back underway. CAR back on the front foot. Turning this way and that on the far side, Londri Sungi. Ferdinand Mukandila doing enough. Another 17-year-old fullback. The same flank as CAR's goal scorer. Still won't turn 18 till July, but not the youngest on the pitch. That is Bradley Besnard, CAR's number 9. Still 17 through to November. It wasn't he, but the DRC number 9, getting his head to that corner. Defensive clearance by Ntanda. Leading by example at both ends, the captain. And here with another challenge inside his own final third. The referee had blown for a DRC free kick. As for the DRC, their 2 previous appearances came in 1989 and 2013. They spread out trips to the finals. Both of those participations ended in early exits in '89. As there's a pretty nasty collision there between Talasi and Sungi, which goes the way, unsurprisingly, of the former. Genuine attempt at the ball, but Sungi perhaps fortunate not to receive a yellow card there. Oh, well, there you go. Not fortunate, but pretty justified, you'd have to say, intentional or not. Sungi enters the book and now joins Idaro and Young, but being one yellow away from a suspension. His, though, would leave his side down to 10. But now they've got this free kick to deal with. Smart pass from Aoka. But, also smart to the danger with Sungi. Makes amends, giving away the free kick by beating Mukandila to the ball. He's behind for a corner, however. Quarter of the game has now come and gone. No shortage of entertainment thus far. It's a good area. It was onto the head of a teammate. Great delivery, but Dieu Kalonji couldn't make the most of it. Mabundu Manitu set up DRC's goal against Ghana. With another killer ball in. Found his tall centre-back. Kalonji turned 19 yesterday, but no belated birthday present for the DRC centre-back. That as good of an opportunity as they've mustered thus far. They do, though, have the CAR pinned back here, dominating possession. Just have to remain wary of the CAR counter-attacks. Kanza. Is it left to Bongeli? In fact, Bongeli was further up the wing. That was Soko. So it goes the way of CAR, to the frustration of Ibukasa and co. It's the air from Aoka. Soko is sent in the opposite direction, down towards the turf, and wins a free kick. CAR retreat back towards their own half and have been a little more defensive since that opener. Understandably, don't need to throw too many players forwards now with the lead. As mentioned, just the one goal apiece in each of Group C games thus far. 1-1 draw with Senegal for the CAR. They're well drilled in defence there. One of their breakaways resulted in the equaliser. That's behind Besnar. Right, set up for a shot on the edge of the area, but well, it was well read by Bongeli. Yes, a while ago I was starting to say DRC's past appearances both ended in early exits in 1989 as Zaire. At that point, they were beaten on away goals after a 2-2 draw by the eventual champions, Nigeria, who claimed their 4th title of what is now a record 7. That in the first round of a different format. In 2013, in the group format, they finished bottom, up against Gabon, Mali and Nigeria again. Only bronze on that occasion for the Flying Eagles. Claimed just a single point, disappointingly, for a draw on match day 1. Goalless on that occasion. The draw here on match day 1. And I want to avoid continuing down this trajectory, which will follow the one in 2013 of following that draw with a defeat. This time the mood has been different. Optimism. This new Congolese generation is technically gifted, physically resilient and tactically disciplined. Well, that can take them into uncharted territory. At the very least, the knockout rounds. The goal, of course, for all these teams is to reach the final and lift the trophy, but there is another prize up for grabs, which is, of course, a spot at the Under-20 World Cup. This tournament also serving as the qualifiers for FIFA's global showpiece at the Under-20 level. The 4 semi-finalists will also qualify as the CAF representatives for the tournament in Chile later this year, September and October. Reigning champions Uruguay won't be there to defend their title. Finished 5th in the South American Under-20 Championship and continued the curse of the reigning champions, becoming the 8th consecutive title holders to fail to qualify for the subsequent tournament. Africa's traditionally performed pretty strongly at the Under-20 World Cup. Ghana winning in 2009, and the Under-20 AFCON 2023 winners, Senegal, finishing as runners-up in that year's World Cup. For now, these two have to focus on the immediate future, the remaining hour or so of this game. Besnard throwing his weight around, throwing it a little too strongly into Landry Soko. One of the most imposing physical figures on the pitch despite his tender years. Not even 17 and a half yet. Good work on that far side. Results in another Congolese corner. Gailey switching wings, finding more joy on the right than he'd had on the left. More organisation for Malamoto. Floated into a threatening area, as was the previous. This one again results in a big chance, but another save from Malamoto. Ronaldo Zay looks to continue the breakaway, and that might work. Tell you what, that was great speed from Tutu to get to that loose ball first. Fortunate bounce off Ronaldo Zay. He's picked himself up. Ultimately a somewhat fortunate bounce for Ryan Tutu as well, as he hammered that into Jerez and Bagoto. Out for a goal kick, could have gone anywhere. They're proving tricky to deal with on the break. The two young Central African attackers brought into the starting 11. 17-year-old Besna and 18-year-old Bagoto. Yes, Youngba, latest to give away a free kick in and around the Central African third. It'll be Messi Mabundu Manitu to deliver. Big name to live up to in the footballing world. Christened Messi. He's got a pretty decent left foot of his own. He's going to whip in another corner, another cross rather. That one though, not matching up to his previous two. And here comes another breakaway for the CAR. Using his pace, Sungi. And Mukandila forced to put that behind for a corner. Ryan Tutu a little less vocal than the man down the other end, Malamoto, when it comes to organising his defence. Sungi, however, makes life easy for Tutu. Only turned 20 on the 1st of April. Born on April Fool's Day, but not made a fool of on that occasion. It was unfortunate with the opener as well. To say, somewhat culpable, played his part. One of his saves probably could have been sent to a less threatening position for his defence, but it was mostly the back four of DRC that was culpable for that goal. Down the other end, Bongeli's pressing does not produce the kind of impact he'd have hoped for. Instead, an impact that's left him in some pain. Awkward collision. As he closed down Yakoma Zabakamara. It's been a pretty physical encounter thus far. In the previous round, CAR won 32 duels against Senegal, whilst the DRC were far more dominant in their physical performance against Ghana, winning 78 duels. So too, winning or completing 18 dribbles to the CAR's 5. Here, though, they haven't made the most of their opportunities in front of goal. It was Aoka who fired it from point-blank range straight into Malamoto. Talazi lurking behind him. Has been involved all over the pitch once again, or all over the attacking half at least. It was he who won 14 of those Congolese duels with Ghana on match day 1, the joint most in the match. Referee waits patiently to get back underway. Just under 10 minutes left of this first half. VAR will have checked this one over in case there was any wrongdoing on the part of Yakoma. Zabakamara would be a real 0-0 first half. Currently his goal, the difference between the two sides. Didn't seem to be a huge amount he did wrong there, but I think that's what we're waiting for. Or indeed, the referee has been instructed to head to our pitch side monitor and have a second look at this. Could we have a late twist in the tail of this first half? Congolese penalty. They've already amassed 1.12 XG compared to CAR's 0.22. It's rather the opposite way around, though, in terms of the current scoreline. Will that be about to change? Certainly got to the ball first. Valverde, Bongeli. Yakoma Zabakamara trying to shield the ball from Bongeli. It's hard to see the level of contact from this angle, so too where that contact exactly took place. The referee will need a second angle. It's right on the line as far as we can tell. Set the left leg of the left back onto the right leg of Bongeli. That is the most problematic point of contact in the eyes of VAR. As far as second angles go, it's not going to change a huge amount. Referee nonetheless has a decision to make with the information she has at her disposal. Certainly could have done a better job shielding the ball, Yakoma Zabakamara. Did he do enough there? Here's the angle we want. Still not totally clear. The referee's seen enough. One viewing of that third angle. She will make her way back to the pitch. Nervous wait for the two sets of players. Having seen on the pitch side monitor that collision, a sheepish Rafael Yakoma Zabakamara can only stare into the middle distance. The shake of his head as he is shown a yellow card for a foul. That could undo all his good work from earlier. Football can be a roller coaster, even in the space of less than 45 minutes. A fourth CAR player now, one yellow away from a suspension, but they have bigger issues in the shape of a DRC penalty. It'll be the young man who had their two biggest opportunities, or two of the three biggest perhaps. One with that header for Kalonji. It'll be Tony Talasi step up and take the responsibility. It's focused. It's determined. But he is denied on the rebound, though. It's slotted home by Noah Makanza. Well, Malamoto thought he was about to be the hero, but there was only really one man following in. It was Noah Makanza. shake of the head from Bruce Stefan Abdoulaye. We'll have to check. You'd imagine on VAR once again whether, not this moment, needs a second viewing, but whether there was any encroachment from Makanza. Can't see from that angle, but there's no one else anywhere near the ball. Appeals from Ondobo. We still can't see from there. Wasn't the best penalty. Initially from Talassi. So too Malamoto. Rather parrying that straight to the feet of Makanza. As you can see, as we cut back to the action, it will stand. And now, as we head into the final couple of minutes, this first half, the scoreline is exactly how it finished for these two sides after 90 minutes on match day 1. Each of their games a 1-1 draw. And Yakoma Zabakamada's opener cancelled out by the penalty he gave away, or at least the rebound from that penalty. It's DRC who looked to ride the wave produced by that equaliser. Carry the momentum on, complete a quick turnaround. Now Waka on the ball, but couldn't get the second touch. There's a little space here on the left-hand side for Sungi. Not afraid to run at a fullback or two. He's doing just that. It was run clean out of play. He's determined. That should have been his corner. Appealing to referee and her assistant, but neither seems interested in his protests. We can but assume that that was checked over by VAR for any encroachment from the wide angle, and must just have been Makanza, the quickest to react, and the quickest to the ball by a long shot. And once there, it was harder to miss and to find the equaliser. And Tanda gallops forwards. There's Bongeli, the teenager that won the penalty, looking to finish the second himself. Cutting inside, letting fly. It did fly a little too high. To the final minute of the first 45. Actually, we'll have at least a couple added on. Is there time for one more clear-cut opportunity for either side? Having seen parity restored, CER have pushed up the pitch a touch. That might allow DRC some more space to work in the opposition half. 5 minutes of additional time. You feel this one could still go either way in terms of a half-time leader. Flicked on, actually by Ronaldo Zay. Wouldn't quite sit up for Besnard. For once it's the Congolese counter. Has an opportunity to cause some problems. But, CAR getting back in decent numbers. Bindu Manitu laying it off. Raking pass out to the left-hand side, which asks a lot of Bongeli, and he's done brilliantly. That was nearly equally brilliant. Scoop beyond Yang, but he couldn't beat him sufficiently enough for pace to get there first. Did so well to stop the ball there with so much momentum heading towards the sidelines. Momentum currently here with the DRC, and it's whipped in by Bongeli again, just over the head of Tony Talassi in the middle. Bruce Stefan Abdoulaye trying to push his players up the pitch a touch. Did sit back after that opener to defend their narrow lead. The narrative of the second half is now very different. It could be even more different when Malamoto fired that into Talassi at point-blank range, and it headed back goalwards. Thankfully for the keeper, about 5 yards wide in the end. CAR scored with their only shot on target against Senegal, and despite having had just 33.6% of the possession, their second lowest ever on record at the finals. They, along with their opponents today, have had 2 shots on target thus far. Each has currently scored with 50% of those. Possession is once again considerably going the way of the Central Africans' opponents. 62% now for the DRC as we head towards the final minutes of stoppage time. It's Talassi, heads for the byline to pull it back. That was matched step for step by Biakolo. Likely the final action of the first half will be a Congolese corner. Talassi will be determined to get himself on the score sheet and make amends in his own mind for that penalty miss, as much as it was put in anyway on the rebound. Mabundu Manitu with the corner, straight this time to Malamoto to set his side straight away. Collision there between 3 players. I think a yellow card about to be produced to Landry Soko. Sungi, and I think it was by Goto, bursting away on the break. One way or another, Soko managed to stop them both, but not legally. And it was actually Junior Nganza who took a shoulder, potentially in the throat there. VAR might be checking that one over as well. It was route 1 from Bernard Malimoto. The initial idea there, which nearly took the route straight back into his own net. See a awkward grimace on his face there as he turned round to see where that was heading. I'm sure a sigh of relief to follow. Here's Stefan Abdoulaye, hoping there'll be no enforced changes here. Ganza back to his feet. Seemingly not worthy of another look, and in fact the decision has gone the way of the DRC, to say to my surprise, but either way it was the final kick pretty much of the first half. A fascinating first half with a goal for each side. Opener from Yakoma Zabakamara after 10 minutes was cancelled out by a penalty, which he gave away. Tony Talassi denied from the spot by Malamoto, but following up on the rebound, Noah Makanza with the equaliser. And so 45 minutes are remaining to separate these two, who have been pretty inseparable thus far. Final huddle on the pitch from the Central Africans, who have to pick themselves up. Momentum swang away from them over the course of that first half. They sat back and defended their narrow lead. In doing so, allowed the DRC a lot of the ball. See more than 62% of the possession and triple the number of shots, almost triple the number of shots on target. It's a little more even in terms of corners and pass accuracy, but just look at those number of fouls. CAR, 15 fouls in the first half, 2 yellow cards. That's 4 players now. You can't afford another yellow card in the second half if they want to play on match day 3. And for all those statistics, the only one that really matters at the moment is at the top of the screen. That reads CAR 1, DRC 1, with 45 minutes remaining here in Suez. Back at the first half of this meeting between the CAR and the DRC at the Under-20 AFCON here in Egypt. Each produced an impressive 1-1 draw in their match day 1 game against much more fancied opponents. And it's CAR immediately on the front foot inside a minute, producing a save from Ryan Tusu. Into the middle, up into the air from Aoka, not properly cleared. It's going to come back into the box, partially away by Kalonji. Still not totally cleared. That's a nervous slice from Soko. He is not dealing with this defensively, and they have been punished. The CAR take the lead through left back Rafael Yakoma Zabakamada. It all stemmed from a total lack of organisation and lack of composure at the back from the Congolese side. VAR getting involved, saying the referee might want to look at that again on a pitch side monitor. And it will be a penalty. Yakoma Zabakamada, who scored the opener, gives away the penalty. Saved by Malamoto, but on the rebound, Noah Makanza with the equaliser. First to the ball by a mile. Malamoto thought he'd done his job, but it is to be a half-time score of Central African Republic 1, Democratic Republic of the Congo 1. Welcome back to Egypt for the second half of this second round Group C game between the Central African Republic and the Democratic Republic of the Congo at the 2025 Total Energies CAF Under-20 AFCON. And it is a goal apiece at the halfway point. Same scoreline from the full-time whistle at both the matchday 1 games for these sides. A draw against Senegal and Ghana respectively. This time they are currently cancelling each other out. CAR opened the scoring after 10 minutes through their 17-year-old left-back, Rafael Yakoma Zabakamada. But it was he who then gave away a penalty late in the first half. VAR getting involved, letting the referee know that she should head over to her pitch-side monitor and have a look. And indeed, after a few viewings from a couple of angles, Akisi Konan pointed to the spot. Tony Talasi took it. It was saved by Malamoto, but slotted home on the rebound by Noah Makanza. And that is how we stand, with 45 minutes still to play in this game at the halfway point of the group stage. Still nothing to separate any of these sides. There is, though, a change that will be made heading into the second half. Ibrahim Matobo is brought on in place of Faveri Bongeli, who won the penalty, but at some expense was down for a while, receiving treatment. Maybe that knock proving too much for him to play the second half. Either way, fresh legs for the DRC as we head into the second 45, this match day 2 meeting between themselves and the CAR here at the Under-20 AFCON in Egypt. Two teams started the first half brightly. CAR never looked as threatening again as they did in the first 5-10 minutes. Settled down a touch and sat back a fair bit, looking to defend that narrow lead. See how they kick off things after a 15-minute break. Two number 6s coming together there. And Ganza winning. No, he was actually a player penalised there. Free kick went the way of the DRC. Now Roca winning the free kick. Led to precisely nothing though. Offside flag immediately up against the Congolese forwards. CAR on a 5-game winless run at the finals, having lost their final game against Gambia in 2021 in the quarter-finals. Their opening 2 games in 23 against Uganda and South Sudan, then of course drawing their final game in 2023 against the Republic of the Congo, and their first game of this edition. However, their 1-1 draw with Senegal marked the first time they avoided defeat after conceding first at the finals. Had previously lost those games with Uganda and South Sudan after conceding a first fight back, but here it was the shoe on the other foot, opening the scoring and then conceding themselves. In each of their previous appearances at the finals, they lost their second group game. Can they put an end to that run here? Either side would be too disappointed with the draw, but they know this is a big opportunity. They are the 2 underdogs in this group. Both did so well to hold their more fancied opponents to a draw in the first game. And they know the winner here will be in a great position to qualify. Whatever the result between Senegal and Ghana later today. Great acceleration there from Messi. Mabudu Manitu kept it in as well. But eventually coming to nothing there. Couldn't find his captain. He's rather surrounded by white shirts. Drop of the shoulder from Sungi. It's again the attempted 1-2 with the number 9 not coming off. Now this time misplacing his pass. Talassi couldn't find a way out. Besna again quickly closed down, this time by Awaka. Both claim the throw. It'll be the midfielder who gets it. Abdoulaye watching on. Bruce Stefan Abdoulaye, the CAR coach, appointed to the head of the under-20 CAR team in July last year, replacing Sebastian Ngato, who was promoted to the senior team. His side having to do some defending here, and it's going to be turned in on the rebound. And it's Noah Makanza again. He was the first to the loose ball after the penalty. But just like late in the first half, early in the second, he's the man in the right place at the right time once again to complete the turnaround. Oh, it's great work on the far side. First from Ibrahim Boto. Immediately involved the substitute, and definitely onside. And once again, the CAR defenders just guilty of being far too statuesque. Matobo turning this way and that, putting it one side of Abdias Yangba, leaving him on the turf. And though Matobo was denied what would have been a brilliant individual goal, it will be an effective assist. Malamoto could only parry it into the path of Makanza. It's a quick-fire double, effectively, from the Michelin man. Plays his football in Belgium. A 20-year-old, whilst there was a 15-minute break in between, there were only 8 minutes in terms of the timings between the 42nd and 50th minute goals. How do the CAR respond to this? Managed to avoid defeat after conceding the first for the first time, as mentioned a few minutes ago, against Senegal. Can they fight back again here, having opened the scoring and then conceded twice? What goes around comes around, and so too what turns around can turn back around. CAR here with a free kick, decent position. He's sent in by Idaro. Besna can't do anything with it though. It's had a largely frustrating and isolated 50 minutes or so thus far. 17-year-old got 19 minutes on match day 1 as a substitute, but hasn't done much more with about triple that thus far. You wonder if there will be an introduction for Lefort Cassina or Baptiste Kilala, who started the opening game in attack. Hashtag, again, a reminder there for you, Total Energies AFCON U-20. Join the conversation online at your social media platform of choice. Plenty to talk about, plenty of action here. 3 goals. Contentious decisions. Could there be another one there? Landry Sungi goes down. It was in the box. I think a decent chunk of the ball, though, from Jules Awoka. Indeed. Nothing wrong there by Awoka. Just Sungi catching the back of his boot as he tried to send the ball on himself. Awoka completed the most passes for DRC on match day 1. Keeps things ticking over in midfield. He's performing very nicely again here. That is seemingly a problem for Yakoba Sabakamada, who's had a real roller coaster of a day here so far in Suez. Scored the opener, then conceded the penalty, and now needing some treatment. Didn't see anything obvious. Seemed to go down all of his own accord. Clearly onside. Otobo in the build-up to that goal. Took on his fellow number 7, Ronaldo Zay, first. Then Yangba left him for dead. With Biakola in the way. Went for goal. Whilst he might not get the official assist. That was all about the Congolese super sub, Otobo. With a crucial piece of play just 5 minutes after entering the fray. Besnard blocked off in no uncertain terms there by Dukalonji. I'm tired of seeing that from Otobo. Played the full 90 on match day 1. Surprised to see him drop out of the starting 11. Making perfectly clear, perfectly quickly to his manager just what he can offer. Makanza, the main beneficiary, walking the ball into the net. DRC now half an hour or so away from what would be a first ever win at the under-20 AFCON. 4 draws, 2 losses across their multiple appearances. Abdius Yangba will need to be replaced, it would appear. Multiple players warm up, all staking their claim. Those 2 losses, 4 draws for DRC. They have always opened with a draw. 2-2 in 1989, 0-0 in 2013, 1-1 last week against Ghana. They've never, though, built on that opening draw with a victory. Could do just that here. Abdius Yangba will be forced off, unfortunately, it would appear. Turns 19 a week today. The Rendici Calcio Academy prospect, playing his club football in Italy. for now. CAR will soldier on. A man light, waiting for presumably Youngber's replacement to warm up. Numerical disadvantage or not, CAR determined to push on and find an equaliser of their own, but are up against it here. Unfortunate that was a little heavy, but Nutu's got there, and it's 3-1. And it's Samuel Ntanda with a header. Again, the same combination as against Ghana on match day 1. Bundu Manitu putting it on a plate for his captain. They might have opened the scoring here, the CAR, but it's all been downhill since then. Piccolo stares into the middle distance. Malamoto gives his defence what for, not for the first time. And it was Ntanda who sent it out to his number 10. And Mabundu Manitu with another great delivery right onto the forehead of the centre forward. His second of the tournament, DRC's third of the day, and they are now in total control of this game with half an hour to play. Born in Brussels, Samuel Ntanda, of Congolese descent, has switched after playing for the Belgian under-18s and under-19s to play for the DRC under-20s. Les Leopards. And he is thoroughly enjoying his time with the Congolese side. Now winning a free kick. Immediately handed the responsibility of the armband. Youth product of Anderlecht, Mechelen, same as his fellow goal scorer, Noah Makanta, before moving on to Sampdoria, their youth academy 2.5 years ago. That's been missed at the back. It's going from bad to worse for the CAR. This time they escape unscathed after a piece of indecisive defending. It was Perry Wagwan. Misjudged that. His first involvement after replacing Yangba at right back. Straight in again, Matobo. Piccolo with an important challenge, an important block this time to keep them in this game. They can rediscover the kind of form they showed early in the match. One goal, the momentum will swing once again. Clumsy tackle by Bradley Besnar on Jules Awoka. It's Yakoma Sabakamada who's back down, limping, one booted towards the sidelines. Is that about to be two fullbacks in a row? As an irate Bruce Stefan Abdullahi lets the fourth official know exactly what he thinks of, I think, the fact that that substitution was delayed. Wagwan, I think, came on after the goal. It's a double change now. Off goes Baigoto for the man who scored the equaliser against Senegal. Diogen Pengazonia. And yes, it is, unsurprisingly, Yakoma Sabakamada also to make way for Kylian Chasport. Surprised to see Pengazonia not rewarded with a start here on match day 2 after a double change in attack for Bruce Stefan Abdoulaye. As I said, Besnard and Baigotto who got the nod. Pengazonia's very well taken goal. It's only earned him another half an hour or so here, and he produced another super sub performance. His fellow sub Chasport, it's the first touch of the ball, a sliced one, which does nothing to worry Ryan Tutu. Tutu, part of the Strasbourg youth setup, another plays football in Liga. And like the Angers man on the opposing side, Yakoma Sabakamada, who's now made way, they've been happy with the results at the weekend. Meanwhile, here in Suez, DRC back on the attack. Chasport with an interception and then a strong left boot there to ensure Bundu Manitu couldn't cause any more trouble for the back line. Wagwan goes back to Malamoto. It's just to finish that point at Ryan Tutu's Strasbourg, beating Paris Saint-Germain, the French champions who only lost their first game of the season the weekend before. Beaten 2-1 by Le Racing, who continue their hunt for an unexpected Champions League spot. Very tight battle at the top of the French table. Tutu hasn't featured there as yet with Georgia Petrovic, the first choice keeper for Strasbourg. Chelsea loanee, has played a number of times for the Strasbourg B team in the CFA2. Also had to pick the ball out of the net here early on. Hasn't been overly troubled since and has done everything called of him. Everything asked of him in 3/4 now almost of this game. It's more likely to be Malamoto worked here. Tander's first to the ball. It was good tracking back from Biacolo. Got in and put that behind for a corner, but this is not going to plan for the CAR. Continuing to find themselves on the back foot when they really have to be pushing on, looking for a second goal of their own. Oh, Besnard trying to clear it away, inadvertently sending it into the danger area. No harm came of it, but it's still with the DRC here. Switch of play be picked up by Mamadou Manitu. Lots of space now on the right-hand side for Matobo. He'll run at Besnard, take it past him, cuts it back brilliantly, killed, and then sent goalwards by Daniel Shilanda. DRC centre-backs getting in on the action. Brilliant first touch, decent effort, but Malamoto held on to this one. It's been his parries that have been the undoing more than once of his side. As was the case for Tutu at the other end. The XG now tells a rather similar story to the scoreline. Very different in the first half when CAR had the lead. XG now about 0.5 for the CAR, 3.26 for the DRC, and they have pretty much matched the expected goals with their actual goals. Could there be more to come? Not this time. Matobo, who has been a real bright spark since coming on, looking to profit from that through ball. Malamoto was alive to the danger. We said the mood was different in this Congolese squad. They believed this new crop of players could do something pretty special, something beyond their previous achievements, and it's starting to look that way. Decent chance they'll be top if it is to end the scoreline along these lines. Come the end of match day 2. We'll see what happens between Senegal and Ghana later. Two pretty evenly matched teams. We'd be surprised if they manage to produce a differential of more than 2 goals. 3 scored here for the DRC. But the job is not done yet. To be wary, not to turn off. They won't punish there, as the ball was sent forwards for the run of Pengazonia, who's shown what he can do on the counter already in this tournament, but on that occasion, getting it all wrong with a rather hurried shot. Sugi can't keep it in, full of running. Once again, the AS Douane youngster, both he and his captain on the opposite wing, Ronaldo Zay, part of the AS Douane Academy. DRC not having it all their own way here. Have to be careful in the final 20 minutes or so. Not to turn off and assume the job is done. The two rather cancelling each other out thus far. Kandila sends the ball towards Makanzo, who's on a hat-trick. Shot, though, it's not from him. Well, his teammate in the Sunrise kit. The sun has gone down here in Suez. but it's still the Congolese who are making hay, whether or not it is shining. Tony Talassi will be a touch frustrated here, even with his side 3-1 to the good. Missed a penalty, unable to make amends thus far. Another double change for the CER, the final two available to Bruce Stefan Abdoulaye. On comes Ryan Kolingba. Ronaldo Zay off once again, as is Bradley Besnan, a double change as well for the CER. Both number 9s making way. Samuel Ntanda will hand off the armband to Mukandila, affectionately known as Semedo Mukandila. And waiting to come on, Honoré Bayanganisa Nakalamwa. And alongside him, Isaac Lufwiku Timonakene. Will the pair of them be able to provide even more? Well, that was very nearly one touch, one goal potentially for Lufwiku. More brilliant work down that left-hand side from Matobo. Surely he'll start match day 3. DRC have looked a totally different side. Since he arrived at half-time, so threatening ball into the box from Sungi. Just slightly too much power. Nice idea. Heading in the direction of the other runner into the box. Gazonia determined to repeat his heroics from the other night. He'll have to score 2 though in 15 minutes, which remain here in Suez. Forwards towards Sungi, but unable to do anything really of note. CER, they're seeing more of the ball here, but DRC are doing enough, and it's a needless free kick given away by Benjamin Adaro, who again has to be careful here on a yellow from the first game. Second would see him suspended, and no need for cynical grabs of the shirt like that in what is bordering on a lost cause this late in the game. Certainly not worth missing the final group game for something as unnecessary as that. CER might have more pedigree in this competition, but DRC certainly with the more impressive history overall in African football. 2 AFCON titles for the DRC senior team, though not under that name. A long time ago now, one in 1974 as Zaire, another in '68 as Congo Kinshasa. A few near misses though through the more recent years. 4th in the most recent edition in Côte d'Ivoire, the start of 2024. 3rd in 2015 and 1998. 6 other quarter-final appearances since the start of the 90s. And they will take place again in the upcoming AFCON in December, drawn alongside Senegal, Benin and Botswana in their group. Cup. Surprisingly, just the one appearance at the World Cup for the Congolese as Zaire back in the 70s. They failed to make it through the group stage compared to CER, the senior team, who have never made the AFCON finals. Came the closest in 2017 when they finished second behind the DRC in Group B in a year where only top of the group qualified. Finished bottom of the group in the qualifiers for the most recent edition, below Lesotho. Just one win, 5 defeats from their 6 games, and have won just 3 World Cup qualifiers ever. They impressed early on in this group stage, CAR, and credit to them here, they're not giving up. They've got men over on the far side. Ryan Kalingba looking to make something happen, but forced to retreat and giving the ball away in the end. Still animated on the sidelines, he hasn't given up yet. Bruce Stefan Abdoulaye, frustrated or not. Daro sends it forwards, but no one there. Tutu can gather up. Sungi, impressively, still got energy in the tank after bombing up and down that left wing for 80 minutes plus now. Ferdinand Candila, now with the armband, wins the free kick up against Kalingba. Hard-working fullback from Cercle Don Bosco. Pacey, offers both in attack and defence. Overlapping runs, excellent crosses, intelligent movement. As you can see, great reading of the game there to intercept that pass before the offside flag had gone up. More than 80 accurate passes, more than their opponents for the Congolese side. It is a well-deserved lead. You have to say, had to fight back after that early blow. As they make their 4th substitution here, which will be the 2-goal hero, Noah Makanza, even if it's probably a combined distance for about 10 yards, if that, across those 2 goals. They are looking very good for 3 points here. On in his place comes Grady Katangulu. Ibukasa still with 1 substitution available to him, should he require it. Perhaps keeping it in his pocket in case there is to be a CAR second here. Maybe throwing another defender, try and see them over the line. Kalingba will take a free kick in a decent position. Biakolo couldn't get his head to it. It's missed by Junior Nganza, but Magwan there to tidy up and send it back in the right direction, forcing his way through on the far side, but ultimately. That from Pengazonia has only resulted in Ryan Tutu being able to pick up the ball. He remained on it. It was actually Pengazonia who did the damage to, I think it's Shul Awaka. It is indeed. Won the ball, but caught a bit of the man after. One of many battles between Biakolo and Tanda in his time on the pitch. Now be top scorer in the competition, along with a couple of others who got a brace on match day 1. Sabiri from Morocco, who unfortunately was injured in the process of scoring the second. And his teammate, Busnina, replacing him, scoring on match day 2. In fact, it is, Camera. Momo Camera. Of course, the current top scorer with a hat-trick for Sierra Leone against Egypt. And their 4-1 win a few days ago. But now, joint second top scorer, not bad at all for Samuel Ntanda. And the man who has since made way, Noah Makanza. And it's a nasty collision. Lefiku, genuine attempt at the ball, eyes focused on it, but unable to get out of the way, and then catching Malamoto in the face, adding injury to insult that way round. Thankfully though, the young keeper seemingly fine to continue, shaking that one off pretty impressively. Looked like hefty collision. But we are back underway with it's under 5 minutes to play. It's now or never for the CAR. They could grab one back in the next minute or two. They'll make things interesting. Through to the final whistle, and far nervier for the DRC. Whilst they've kept running, kept their heads up, trying to get the ball forwards. Sense heads are just dropping a touch. Legs feeling the distance covered. That could be an opportunity though. Miss-hit clearance. Well, it dropped. In a threatening position for Pengazonia. Couldn't make the most of it. Gone back in midfield by Nganza. See our midfielder wins a free kick. Which will be successfully taken at the second time of asking. Kalimba holds off the challenge. Biakolo tries to dance past a couple in the yellow-red fade. He ran down a blind alley. And now will be beaten to the ball by the speed of Matobo. Waits for reinforcements to arrive. And he was looking for his fellow nippy winger on the other side, Mabundu Manitu. Nice idea, just a little under hit. Messi, Mabundu Manitu. Whether a happy accident or a love of Messi by his parents, there are certainly similarities. A diminutive left-footed winger quick changes of direction, brilliant passing. Been one of the best in Congolese colours. DRC's captain, Kandila, was caught there by Sungi. Knocking the ball away. And the CAR winger landing with his studs on the right foot of the right back. Seems to have escaped without a booking. So we enter the final 90 seconds of the scheduled 90 minutes. Quick bit of treatment by the medics, and Kandila is seemingly good to go again. Manitu gets us back underway. Playing his trade with Amiens in France, in Ligue 2, currently mid-table. Since he could catch the attentions of some higher up the French leagues, maybe elsewhere, if he can keep up these kind of performances. There as well, back defending. A few appeals from those in white, though, presumably for a handball, which would have been right on the edge of the area. VAR can check it. It might be too little, too late now, even if it were to prove to be a spot kick. CAR have 10 seconds plus stoppage time to find 2 goals. They would only salvage 1 point. Malamoto well off his line. But slipping as he attempted to send that towards an attacker, and ball is out for a DRC throw. We did look to hit the left hand of Messi Mabundu Manitu. I think it may have just been outside the area. Imagine VAR will only get involved should that have been inside the area, and a clear offence worthy of a second viewing for referee Akisi Konan. We have played on into, as it was in the first half, 5 minutes of stoppage time, almost one of which has already come and gone. It's brought down on the edge of the area. It's queuing up here in CAR white, but it still won't happen. Pangazonia with a roar of frustration, as neither of his efforts found their way past Landry Soko, who has turned this one around. Culpable for the first goal. And now doing everything to keep this 2-goal lead. Palingba with the in-swinger onto the head of Shilanda. Optimistic, opportunistic attempt from a long way out from Junior Nganza. One which comes to nothing. All is not lost, though, must be said, for the CAR, depending on the results. Both here, which looks pretty much set in stone now, and later this evening, they should still have an opportunity to turn things round with a giant killing on match day 3. As the final substitution of the match will take place. Messi Mabundu Manitu earning a well-deserved round of applause as he makes way for Meshak Shimanga. Up into the air. One by Awaka, who's still all over the middle of the park to dominate midfield. Kalimba tried to take that one quickly. Sold to retake it, but talking a little bit too much himself was Bayanganiza, who's the latest to enter the referee's book. I think that's potentially what he was complaining about. Might have had a point as well. Marguan studs up there over the ball. Fortunately, no harm done to the young Congolese on the receiving end. There has been a fair bit of harm done to the morale of the CAR. They're still looking to get things done, get things underway quickly, but looking like they've run out of ideas as we enter the final minutes of stoppage time. Instead, it's DRC down the other end, looking to apply icing to the cake. Offside flag, though, up against Matobo. Catching the number 7 off guard there. Long ball, not quite back on side yet. Kandila getting his own back after having been on the receiving end of one or two tough challenges. That was in fact Radi Katungulu. 95 minutes have come and gone. Final throw of the dice for a consolation, but that didn't come off. Very little came off in truth for the CAR in the second half. If not, the final 80 minutes of the game, it was they who took the lead after 10 minutes through their left back, Rafael but once the DRC steadied the ship and got the lucky break of a VAR assisted penalty late in the first half, they never looked back. With 2 rebounds, first from the DRC penalty, second from Matobo's effort. Moments after coming on at half-time, Samuel and Tanda, the captain, adding a third on the hour mark. 3-1, the final score in favour of the DRC.
Test the mic, test the mic.
Congratulations on the man of the match, over.
Thank you. In French, français.
Congratulations on the man of the match, over.
Thank you, thank you.
How do you feel about your work?
Très content. On a beaucoup travaillé lors de la préparation et oui, c'est le fruit de travail.